All right, so this is my response to the recent discussion board about necessary components that a star needs in order to contain a habitable planet. Um, so my thoughts are that this star needs to probably be, obviously, probably fairly similar to ours, um, probably somewhere along the main sequence of star range. And when I say similar to our star, the sun, I'm talking in terms of luminosity and heat or temperature. Um, Alongside that, I think also that more so also what is developed on the inside of the star as well, containing a lot of hydrogen and helium interaction, um, as well with that to produce the energy, as that seems that creates um, a respectable HZ or habitable like zone as the video said. And obviously, my reasoning for luminosity uh, and heat and the temperature are because at a high luminosity, the star in itself is giving off entirely a lot of energy, and if if the sun's luminosity was like I don't know in the video on the diagram, if it was like one exponent up, um, there's probably a good chance that where we're sitting at is probably wouldn't lie in the habitable zone at this point, and we'd probably be burnt to a crisp due to the energy that would be released from the sun at the given temperature that we have, which is approximately 6,000. I think so. Yeah, somewhere around 6,000. Um, but yeah, so it's not necessarily all about how far we are from the star in a sense, but rather about the star's habitable zone and that's created by the luminosity and the temperature of said star. So stars such as red dwarfs, um, obviously they don't burn um, insanely bright, but the core temperature of those stars uh, are also very low. So those probably could support a a habitable planet for us, um, as long as we can reside within the zone of habitability for that star. Um, and the reason I think the number one thing that the star honestly needs is that um, is a stable is I guess is in a sense stability, because from stability you can create a stable habitable zone for a planet to reside in, which means that there shouldn't be any like variation in the star's luminosity, because if you were to adjust or increase the luminosity of a star, it could push any planet out of the zone of habitability, or if it took a major drop in luminosity and the energy it puts out, um, we could again move out of the zone of habitability. That's a hard word for me. Um, to the point where we could just freeze. So I think that stability of a star is utterly important for the longevity of the star in itself. It needs to be around for a long time, and that is, in a sense, for the evolution of life. The longevity of a star creates longevity for planets within the habitable zone, and that in itself will give enough time for life to evolve and become more complex, and thus probably producing more intelligent life as well. Um, so with the stability of that star and luminosity, there's also the stability that it creates from that with a habitable zone. So that way we're not being pushed in or out constantly and going through extreme heat or cold phases. Um, Along with this habitable zone is also the necessity of liquid water that is produced in habitable zones. Whereas if we aren't within there, if we're too far away from that star, or the habitable zone is extremely small and close to the star, and the planet that has the best chance of producing life is too far away from that zone, then more than likely there'll be probably ice caps and just all around just ice encasing, which isn't the type of water that is needed to support a life system, as we can tell from our system on Earth, and how dependent we are and all life is on water. So just to cap it off, things that I think that are necessary components are liquid water, stability of a star, and stability of habitable zones, and probably operations off of hydrogen and helium within that star.